What up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I still want to make progress on the Nissan, so today we're going to be installing the Holley Terminator Max. So I got, for the most part, everything laid out. I kind of went through the instructions. There are a few things that are real important as far as wiring up, like making sure that the power cable goes directly to the battery. So we'll probably start with that. But just to overview real quick, just in case you haven't seen my previous video, I got the Terminator Max because I am running a 4L80 transmission. So with you running a 4L80 transmission, you have to get the Max because it comes with this extra transmission harness, which is pretty neat because this plug here, of course, all this other stuff bolts into the transmission, but then this side here bolts up to the ECU. There's the ECU. This thing is super lightweight, super compact and small. And then, of course, if you don't know, when you buy the Holley Terminator, it comes with its own wiring harness, so we don't have to wire in any relays. It's already got its own fuse. It's got all the plugs. It's got all the appropriate pigtails for the sensors. And then we got a couple of extra wires here that go to things like fuel pump, tax signal. I think one of these or something like that goes to ignition on or ignition or power while cranking. And then in this bag here, comes separate is the injector harness. It also comes with this little bitty startup screen, but we're not gonna need that, and let me show you why. Wow, we don't need it because we got the 6.86 Holley dash screen. We got the quick installation guide here that I'm gonna have to go through, but from just glancing at it, it has its own GPS for speed, how fast you're going. It's got like an extra pigtail that extends off of this that goes to the computer. And then of course you got your USB, where if we want to put any kind of custom configurations in there from the software on the laptop, or if we want to put like our logo, which I'm probably gonna put the SpeedX logo in the background of this thing, we can do that. And then on top of that, we also still have to make like some sort of mount to mount this thing. I want to get rid of the factory 240 gauge cluster, and I want to replace it with that. I don't know if we're going to get into custom making a spot for that quite yet, because you know how it is when you got a bunch of toys and a bunch of goodies, man. You just want to dive right in, and you just want to zip tie and sticky tape everything just so you can hurry up and hear it crank up and drive. So I don't know how far we're going to get with this, but we are going to also, with this Terminator Max install, I wanted to conveniently put this somewhere where if it ever throws a code or anything like that, I can read it. So with the Holley Terminator, if it has any kind of issues, it's got 1 through 8 that lights up and will tell you what kind of issues you're having. I want to have that on display where if I do have any issues or them lights flash or whatever the case is, I can see it with no hesitation. And also I want to redo my wiring distribution block. So I purchased a little distribution block off of eBay. With this kit, came with a couple of fuses, screws to secure it. Came with a bunch of little like deals if you want to wire it up, like you want to wire spotlights and all that kind of stuff. You can stick that junk on the outside. But the main reason why I bought this is when you take this cover off, if you have a blown fuse, one of these lights will light up. Everything from here and up is all grounds. So you basically run this either to the battery, to the chassis, and everything on here has a ground. Same thing with this, you run this to the battery or you run it to a ignition on only, and then all of these will have power. I got rid of my glove box, and in replacing the glove box, I made this little delete plate. And so what I'm attempting to do, I want to put this ECU right here, and I want to put my terminal block right here. This way, if I ever have any issues, all my wiring will be to this central location, which is on the passenger side. And I'm not only gonna wire up this stuff through this, I'm also gonna use this for any external things like gauges, maybe my boost controller if I have it. I do have line lock in the Nissan, so I can wire it up to that terminal block. But to start with, we're gonna go ahead and wire up the main hot. So we're gonna take this harness and run this. Holley provide these ring crimps with a little piece of heat shrink to solder on the end of the wires. So now I got everything stretched out. That's exactly what we're gonna do. I think I want to go ahead and snake this through the firewall. And I think what I'm gonna do the opposite of what you normally do. Normally you would snake all of these from the inside of the car to the outside of the car, but I think that hole is actually big enough that I can run this from the engine bay through the firewall into the cabin, as well as these. So I think that's the attempt that I'm gonna approach. There are two grounds that they specifically say bolt up to the cylinder head. They got one on this side, so I'm assuming it's gonna go on the passenger side cylinder head. And then they got another one right there that I'm gonna screw in on the back. I already got a ground lug going from the cylinder head over here to the chassis or the firewall. So I'm just gonna basically attach that one to that one. And then I got a new bolt that I'm gonna secure the ground on the passenger side, back side of the head. So we got everything, or as far as the wiring harness, we got the main wiring harness hooked up. So now all we need to do is snatch the spark plug harness. All we gotta do is open up the bag and install our injectors, not the spark plug harness. This is the injector harness, and all we gotta do is take it out of the bag and install it. Look at that. It's just one harness attached to two. That's pretty daggone convenient. And when you first look at this injector harness, I mean, it almost looks like it's pretty universal, but paying attention to detail, they do have each one of these clips numbered. So for example, this is injector number 1, meaning that it's gonna go on the driver's side. All right, real quick on my particular setup, I got my coil packs down here on the driver's side of the frame rail to kind of keep this area clear for me running my fuel lines and having these cushion clamps on it. Here is the pigtail for the Holley, for the ignition. My pigtail is all the way down here, so I think what I'm gonna try to do is de-loom this. Hopefully this loom will go back maybe to right there. And I think with that being said, I can snake it back behind the driver's side block and plug it in down on the bottom. All right, it looked like it's gonna work. I de-loomed it all the way back to the back of this valve cover. And as you can tell, if I can grab this thing, it looks like it's gonna click right into place. So before I click it into place to make it permanent, I'm gonna go back over all this stuff with some electrical tape, and I'm gonna run this loom back up to here after I hit this with a little bit of electrical tape. On my setup, since I'm running turbo, this is the part number for the map sensor. It's I wanna say it's LS9 map sensor, basically the same thing as the ZR1, but this is the one from Holley, part number 870021. It's a 2.5 bar. I'm probably never gonna see that. But on my setup, or at least my old setup, for one, I was running a brick style 2-bar map. And then for two, normally the map sensor goes back there on the back side of the intake manifold. I didn't like that setup. So what I ended up doing was tapping, I wanna say I tapped it for a 1/4-inch NPT, ran a hose straight to the map sensor. I was only running 10 pounds of boost. I've never had any issues. Got like a Nissan style clamp on it. Make a long story short, I'm gonna do the same thing with this. I do this all the time on hoses. Whoa. Turn that down. Ow. Golly, the junk hot. No big deal. Guess I'm gonna have to go to the parts store. That's the bung size I need. So if I want to use this fitting here, all I would need is a bushing. But I know Ace Hardware and Lowe's, I know that they have this thread pitch on the bottom, but the bar being a little bit bigger. The cool thing about the Holley is, if you look at this pigtail right here, look what it says on there. it says fuel. What Holley has done is they had it where all you gotta do is get 0 to 100 PSI transducer, or you can get one a little bit higher in PSI depending on what kind of fuel pressure you're running. But you can take the sensor and you can basically data log and have access to how much fuel pressure you got at all times. So instead of using this gauge, what we end up doing is we went to Low Dollar Motorsports. We got Brandon Dollar over there trying to save you $1. And what I purchased is a 0 to 100 PSI transducer. It comes with the pigtail in case we needed to wire it in ourselves. But most importantly, it comes with the calibration curve. So this is a big deal. I mean, at the time, Holley was out of stock on that sensor because the system, it just came out, and I guess they were selling things like hotcakes, and I ended up having to find another option. And Low Dollar Motorsports, they have all kind of sensors. So I need to get at least one more sensor, and then I also might even get a oil temperature sensor from them because I do want to monitor my trans temps. Wow, look at that sensor. The joker sticking out kind of far, look kind of funny looking, but it ain't gonna matter. When I pop the hood, you ain't gonna be looking at that. You're gonna be looking at that. So Justin is having a gender reveal, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off here, but we're gonna come back later and we're gonna continue on installing this Holley Terminator X Max. Yeah, open the door. Get out. Get out so you choke. I knew it was a girl. Dang, yo, your lips is purple. Bro, is your mouth bleeding? Yo, this joker mouth is bleeding. Woo. Well, congratulations.
I couldn't see anything. I was like, yeah, what's up?
And I hope you guys enjoyed Justin and Andrea's gender reveal. That's personally me and my family the first time witnessing such an awesome gender reveal. And what other better way than laying down rubber? And I think the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and mount both of these. I got these exactly set up where I want. So all I got to do now is drill my holes and secure with the hardware. All right, since we're going turbo, we need to get rid of the old brick style 2-bar map sensor, and we convert it over to an LS9. And this adapter is gonna get us right where we need to be. All right, bird's nest over here. Originally, I had my fuse block holder sitting in this section here. As you can tell, every time I wanted to work on it or had a blown fuse, I would have to move all of this stuff just to get to it. That's the reason why I wanted to put it on that delete panel. It's gonna be right here. And then of course, as a tuner, I had a tremendous amount of gauges, water temp gauges, oil pressure gauges. I had my AM wideband. Since we're running the Holley Terminator now, stuff like oil pressure, water temp, all that stuff is gonna be on that screen that we're gonna install. So I no longer need any of this stuff. I do want to keep a second O2 sensor just so I can have it there. And I did also want to keep my boost control, my boost gauge, just because I want it. And I do also want to keep this too. At some point I may get rid of all of that. I just want to see how everything is gonna work. I'm gonna cut you back on once I get a lot of this stuff out of the way. And I think next what I want to do is I want to fit up my delete panel here so that I can know where I need to run all my wires and stuff too, so we can continue on wiring up this Holley Terminator X. All right, guys, it's been a few hours later. This is where I'm at so far. I've got a lot of these wired in to this fuse here. I also got a 40 to 60 amp relay. So I got this coming from the ignition on. These two wires going to the relay. And then I got it grounded here. This lug here goes straight to the battery. So all these are good grounds. And when I turn the key on, that relay sends power to this whole spot. So everything that I want to have power, when I turn the ignition on, can get power from here. Now we're to the point where we can go ahead and start wiring up what they call loose wires for the Holley. So we got a 12-volt switch, which is red with a white stripe. That's this one here. And then the cool thing too is they also label some of this stuff. I don't know if you can really tell, but they label this stuff. So this red with the white stripe is gonna go to this fuse or terminal block here. Then we got the red, which is all-time hot. That's gonna go to the front of the engine bay, which is where the battery goes to a single lug up there. The green wire, which is our fuel pump, I've already got that wired up here. This red wire goes to the back of the trunk where the fuel pump is at. We got a black ground, that's gonna go to the fuse block as well. And then we also got a blue with a white stripe, which is our tack output. And I'm gonna take that tack output and I'm gonna send that straight to there. I've already got a lot of this stuff labeled when I took it apart in case I need it. Like for example, I got my tack wire labeled in the back there with a red paint pen. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue to wire this stuff up. And once I get to this point, then I think the next setup is gonna be our transmission harness. And that also has loose wires and need a little wiring as well. All right, now that we got the loose wiring for the main harness done, now we're ready to tackle the second harness. Again, I have a Terminator Max X, meaning that I'm using this harness right here, which is a transmission 4L80 harness. There's the main plug, there's the relay to activate the wiring. You got the two VSS sensor, one there and one here. It's already got a fuse already built into this harness. This end here plugs directly to the computer, so that means we're gonna have to run it through the firewall. And then we got 4 loose wires. And according to the transmission harness, if you go down here, the gray wire, it goes to the brake switch. We got a ground, we got a all-time hot going to the battery, and then we got a switch 12-volt, which is the red with a white wire. So we're gonna go ahead and install this through the firewall. All right, now that we have the transmission harness ran through the firewall, everything wired up, we still need to jack the 240 up. We still need to get it back in the air, and make sure that all our plugs on the bottom fit. I noticed it was a little short, but now we're ready to install the Holley EFI 6, almost barely 7 dash. I'm gonna take this up because this is the end that plugs into the back of the dash, and this is the end that needs to be wired in. And the wiring sections on the passenger side, the dash is gonna be on the driver. Pookie, what you doing in here? Huh? What you doing sitting in my daggone chair, bro? Get out my seat. All right, let's take a peek under here. All right, so rewind. I tried to run this harness across the top of the motor and come down on the driver's side like it normally was, but the harness was too short. So I looked up under here, and I know it's hard to tell on this camera, but there might be a smidge of room at the very top of the transmission. I'm gonna see if I can snake it up across the top of the transmission. And if anybody wanna know how it is to have a 4L80 and a 240, this transmission is humongous, and it's not meant to be in this chassis. And also I noticed too is the Holley doesn't use anything dealing with the neutral safety switch and starting. The good thing is I'm running B&M ratchet shifter, and it already has an aftermarket universal neutral or park switch on it already. So when I do wire it up to start it, I'll just wire it up through that and not this. So with the Holley, this is no longer needed. Now that we got the transmission harness installed in the Nissan, the Holley is all wired up. There is one last step I need to do, which is turn the key on, make sure fuel pump prime, make sure everything do that. But I'm not ready to do that quite yet. I'm gonna wait till startup video to do all that. But let me just show you real quick what the panel looked like, and then we're gonna end this video here. So thank you guys for always watching the videos, to all my fans that continue to watch and enjoy the content, and for all the new subscribers, thank you guys for stopping by the channel. There's gonna be a lot more stuff, a lot more fabrication, a lot more custom stuff, and most importantly, a lot more entertainment and stuff to make you guys laugh. So in the meantime, take it easy, and I'll check you on the next episode.